Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Jessica Tunis, and I'm a resident of Santa Rosa. At 3:42 a.m. on October 9th, I received the worst phone call of my life. It was my mother calling. At first, I was relieved because I'd been trying to reach her since about 2:30 when I saw that the fire had jumped Highway 101. "Hey, Mom, there you are. I've been trying to reach you for 2 hours. 2 hours, she replied. Yeah, there's a big fire. My house is on fire. I was in shock. It didn't make sense. I had been carefully watching and refreshing the City of Santa Rosa webpage. I knew the fire was north of Hopper, near Kmart, but there was no evacuation order for my mother's neighborhood. I could see the fire from my backyard. I thought I was more in danger in Rincon Valley. What? I screamed at her to get out of the house. I asked if she saw fire or just smoke. I asked where in the house she was, where the fire was. Could she get to her back door? Could she get to her front door? A window? Through repeated coughs, she replied, I can't. There's fire outside. I begged her to find a way outside. Please, Mom, get out. Her last words to me were, I'm going to die. We were on the phone another 30 seconds, and I told her I loved her. I love you, Mommy, I repeated over and over again. The call dropped. Excuse me. The call dropped. I called 911. I don't know how many times I tried before it finally rang. I told them my mother was trapped in her home at the Journey's End Mobile Home Park, 501 Biltmore. The dispatcher asked me where that was. I said, off Mendocino in Santa Rosa. I had reached the San Francisco dispatch. She was looking up a number for me to call, the Sonoma County emergency number, when my boyfriend John said he had a dispatcher on his phone. I hung up on my call and took his phone. I gave the dispatcher her address. She said they would send help. John told me the firefighters were in Journey's End, one street over, the dispatcher had said. I had a spark of hope. Maybe they would get to her in time. It's 6 months later, and I still replay that night over and over in my head. What I wish I had done differently, what I would have done differently if I had more information. I remember wondering why my mother didn't answer her phone. I tried to call her several times after 2:30. Had she turned the ringer off before she went to bed? Thank you, I came prepared. Had she turned the ringer off before she went to bed? Then I wonder why there hadn't been one of those really loud, annoying alerts sent out, like they do for Amber Alerts, where you have to turn it off before it stops making that sound. She obviously had her phone nearby, because she was able to find it in the dark and call me. I can't say for sure, but it is likely that that WEA alert would have woken her up. If so, that would have given her the chance to go outside, get help evacuating from her neighbors or the police. It would have saved her life. I kept checking the City of Santa Rosa page. At approximately 4:30, I saw that Kaiser and Sutter hospitals were being evacuated. My mother's home she was next door to Kaiser. But at that point, it was fully engulfed in flames. I found out later that the Nixle alert went out at 3:53 a.m. But I didn't know about Nixle before the fire. That was still too late to save my mother. And as Nixle is an opt-in system, it's clear we need a universal opt-out system for emergency alerts. I trusted the authorities. I followed their directives. I did not insist that my boyfriend go to her house at 2:30 when I saw fire was near Hopper, because the authorities say to stay off the roads if we didn't need to evacuate. I didn't call 911 at that point because they said only call if there's a life-threatening emergency. At that point, I didn't think there was one. If I had known the fire was so close to my mother's home, if there had been an evacuation order at 2:30 or 3, I would have called 911 then and notified that my mother was not answering her phone and that she needed help. My mother went to bed in her home on a windy Sunday night. She woke up trapped in her burning home. She went to sleep, like we all do. She deserved to be notified of the nearby inferno, and that alert never came. I deserved to know that her life was in danger, so I could have alerted the authorities that she needed help. The fact that Sonoma County's emergency services manager decided a year in advance not to use this WA alert in this type of a disaster is infuriating. That decision was based on the erroneous belief that the alerts could not be focalized to the areas in danger. The residents of California deserve better. We have the technology and we must have the will and the means to use it. We need to pass this bill to create a statewide standard for emergency alerts. Please vote yes on SB 833. It might save someone you love. Thank you.